of Benton Harbor,
in and for the city of Benton Harbor,
County of Berrien,
county of Berrien,
and state of Michigan,
and state of Michigan,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me.
You need to sign first. Is that what you signed, Counselor? You as well. You want me to write down in there?
Honorable Mayor, just a point of clarity, two other commissioners have requested that they utilize, Your Honor, Chief Judge of Benton Harbor, Berrien County. I do apologize for wish you were the Chief Judge of Benton Harbor, Michigan, but they will request that, and if it's all due respect, the judge will concur
There's no objections.
to the two that requested.
Support.
It's your call, Honorable
No,
Judge.
I have no.
Whomever the clerk will call next.
Commissioner Isom.
If you'd raise your right hand, please. I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully perform
faithfully perform
the duties of the office of Commissioner at Large.
fully
The duties,
the duties of Commissioner at Large
duties and the office
and the office
of Commissioner at Large
as Commissioner at Large
in and for the city of Benton Harbor,
in and for the city of Benton Harbor,
County of Berrien,
County of Berrien,
and state of Michigan,
State of Michigan,
according to the best of my
the
ability.
best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
All right.
Thank you. Expect great things. Thank you so much.
Commissioner Henderson.
Repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully perform
that I will faithfully perform
the duties of the office of First Ward Commissioner
I will serve the duties and office of First Ward Commissioner
in and for the city of Benton Harbor,
in and for the city of Benton Harbor,
county of Berrien,
county of Berrien,
and state of Michigan,
and state of Michigan,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
So help me God.
So help me God. So help me God.
Yes. Judge.
I support.
Yes, it's that the judge wants to, so you have time.
I'm not gonna make the end of your agenda.
Okay, good.
It's been a long day.
So the city clerk will call the newly elected commissioner-elects for the administration of their oath.
Commissioner-elect Kennard.
Raise your right hand, please, and just repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully perform
and that I will faithfully perform
the duties of the office of
the duties of the office of
Commissioner at Large
Commissioner at Large
in and for the city of Benton Harbor,
in and for the city of Benton Harbor,
county of Berrien,
county of Berrien,
and state of Michigan,
and state of Michigan,
according to the best of my ability.
and according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you.
Commissioner-elect Warren.
I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of the state,
and that I will faithfully perform
and that I will faithfully perform
the duties of the office of Second Ward Commissioner
the duties of the office of Second Ward Commissioner
in and for the city of Benton Harbor,
in and for the city of Benton Harbor,
county of Berrien,
county of Berrien,
and state of Michigan,
and state of Michigan,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
peaceful transfer of power supposedly. That was my childhood game too.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I hope we can still get that meeting up.
This brings us to the next item on the agenda, which is the approval of minutes. Regular minutes, December 4th, 2023. There is a motion made by Commissioner Adams and is supported by Mayor Pro Tem Seats. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry, Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Just ask, just housekeeping, could we please mute our phones or power them off for the sake of the business of the meeting? Thank you. This brings us to the approval of accounts payable listing. Is there a motion for the approval? Motion is made by Commissioner Adams. Is there support?
Support.
It is supported by Commissioner Singleton. Is there discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry, Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
This brings us to an update by County Commissioner Yarbrough. She is not present on tonight, so we will reschedule her presentation for the new year. This brings us to the citizens' comments or public participation. There is a 3-minute maximum per speaker. You can sign in with the city clerk, and she will call you according to the list. Yield to the city clerk.
Don Meeks Senior,
I didn't think I was the first one, but that'd be all right. I want to congratulate the commission about the water line replacements. But also I want to say something else about what Commissioner Seats was talking about. Adding some chemicals to the water when the lead lines are gone. Now, what is that going to do to our health? Once you do something to your health, you cannot repair it. So I think somebody need to take a look at putting some in the water, don't need to be put in the water. We just got over one catastrophe. And well, I guess I'm said enough. I'm getting on it. But congratulations. I think we're one of the safest cities in the country now. Now, let's take another look at this water issue about adding things. And another thing that kind of caught my attention is buying water from St. Joe, and they want to charge you a higher rate than what they charge the rest of them. What's wrong with that picture? Now, Commissioner sees somebody thinks sometimes he be going off, but I'm gonna tell you that issue with the water, with the chemicals, that need to be looked at. Now, he's talking, I don't know how many people are listening. I was in the audience and I was listening. And I don't think at that point that if we don't need them, why we putting them in there? And one other issue, I'm gonna get past that. I got a property on 120 Water Street. I've been trying to get the city over 6 months to sign off on it. I got a business, a minority owner that's gonna open up a business, but he won't clean title. So the city has no interest on the property. All they had to do is sign off. I brought the deed with me, a quick claim. And I believe that my attorney has been talking with your attorney. It's Sowers, Brian Sowers. Okay, now I brought the deeds with me. Maybe I can get it signed off where I can get all this taken care of since everybody here. Okay, I'm gone.
Elnora Gavin.
Good evening. My name is Elmore Gavin. Really grateful to be here, to be able to witness the swearing-in ceremony and to see the courage and tenacity of soon-to-be Commissioner Emma Kennard, who ran before, and regardless of what that outcome was, she showed up to these meetings and represented the community and looked out for the community, regardless of what her title was. And that's just that just demonstrates a deep love and concern for the community. And not only that, she has done such an amazing job with the Fresh Start Children's Garden. My son, at age 10, maybe he was at age 9, went to the garden and learned about the different vegetables. And it was just a beautiful experience to see someone help clean up the community in the best way possible, providing fresh, healthy vegetables, clean, healthy soil for the community, teaching our children about what it means to create something from the earth. And so I'm just really excited to see in the agenda the possibility for selling that and making sure that it stays in her name and her legacy. And so I'm just praying that that's a unanimous vote. It feels like a no-brainer. It feels like the right thing to do. And, it's just an amazing legacy to be able to work a garden for that amount of time and to give us something in our community that we can be proud of. And anytime I talk about the Fresh Start Children's Garden, anywhere with people across the country, they're very excited about this. And it's something that people could look to Ben Harbor and be super proud of, that's something that we do. So owning land is one of the most important things that a community person can have, and taking that land and giving it back to the community, giving free vegetables to our children and to our people is something that we can be proud of. And so I'm just hoping that the city council will once again do the right thing and just show support and solidarity in something that means a lot to the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Angela Wilson Turnbull.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Angela Wilson Turnbull. I too am honored to be here. I look at your faces, Black leaders of power in a Black community. Emma Kennard is coming to join you to do work in this community. She's a pillar of strength, integrity, created the gift, if we think to the Garden of Eden, which God gave to each of us for our survival. She has tended the soil. She has planted. She has nourished many of us, our children, our families. Unfortunately, in this community, for every 1,200 people in this county, there's only one doctor. There's a food desert. There's so many opportunities to expand and contribute. And I'm just so grateful for her perseverance, her steadfast leadership and undying commitment. And you each have the power to maintain that legacy, not only for our children, but for future generations. It's a precious honor. And I just, I'm grateful to be able to just make a request on behalf of the thousands of people that are not in this room. For each person that goes hungry, the poverty in Benton Harbor is over 40%. And though we may not see it, there are many children, elders, from young people to middle-aged people that are hungry. And this represents an incredible opportunity to preserve the Fresh Start Garden and to use this land in a Black community to honor, restore, and expand the community that's here. Thank you for your consideration, and it's our prayer that there's a unanimous vote for this resolution that's come out of this body. Thank you so much.
Michael Hoy.
Good evening. Over the past weekend, I had one of my mentors pass away, Richard Hunt. And Richard did call Benton Harbor his home. I've been fortunate enough to spend many great years with him. And I just, over the past weekend, I'd like to present to the city, to the mayor, a signed article from him, from his works. I'd like to present it to the city of Benton Harbor through the mayor's office. That would be on display for everybody to see the great works of Richard Hunt and what he accomplished in his lifetime. And again, this is a signed piece of his that I'd like to share with the city, and that it may go on display in the mayor's office or where he sees fit. But those are my words. Thank you.
No more comments.
Thank you to all that spoke, participated in the public participation of citizens' comments. This brings us to the consent calendar items. Is there a motion for the approval of the consent calendar, or are there items that should be separated? Commissioner Adams is recognized.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Separation of item 2, 6, 8, and 9.
Chair recognizes for Commissioner Clark Griffin.
Separate number 3.
Number 7, also on there.
Duly noted. Is there a motion for the approval of the consent calendar?
Motion to approve.
Motion is made by Commissioner Adams and is supported by Commissioner Edwards. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem States,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Mayor Condon.
Yes.
Motion carried.
This brings us to the second item on the agenda, amendment to the City Commission policy and procedures establishing standing committees. Is there a motion for the approval?
Motion to approve.
Motion is made by Commissioner Adams. It is supported by Commissioner Henderson. Is there discussion? Chair recognizes for Commissioner Clark Griffin.
Okay, first of all, I know this was put on, it was put on legislative to amend it. And then also the same night, it was put to appoint, Commissioner Edwards. Now, if we hadn't even changed it yet, how was it even put on there to appoint him? If it hadn't even been came before us, we just voting on it tonight. That's not fair to other residents either. I believe, because I know how it works around, this was just made up just to appoint him to that. And, also, I seen where it says standing committee, another one said public safety and public work. That does not exist either. That's not in the charter, so that would have to be voted on too, to change that name.
So just for some clarity, Commissioner Edwards currently is the vice chair of Park and Rec Public Safety, and he submitted an application to serve on that committee as a resident. He submitted that application to the city clerk's office. So when the item came before the legislative body or committee to add public works as a addendum or a part of the public safety committee, as well as the planning economic development, parks was added to that committee. So given that he had his application in at that time, that's why he is up for consideration on tonight. But he went through the legal process for appointment. Madam Clerk, do you have any discrepancy?
No, I mean, item number 2 was presented to the legislative committee. So that would have to be passed before the appointments can be made. If that does not get passed, then those appointments will have to be restructured.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Commissioner at Large Adams.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I listened to the discussion. I didn't make it to the meeting, but I was present on line. And I just found it troubling for all the years that I was co-chair of Planning and Economic Development that I tried to put the power of planning and economic development into the people's hands by creating its own department. But now we're putting parks and recreation over into planning and economic development, which it should have been anyway. Trying to get those things established before the position was filled in Planning and Economic Development Department. It just made more sense. And it still wouldn't be putting the power in the people's hands because those block grant dollars have been coming into this community for years, yet it does not serve the inner city. And that's still problematic. It always has been for me personally and some of my residents that I represent, and it still is. And somehow, some way, after I leave here tonight, I will be back over there on the other side, coming back the same way I did when I first returned home, seeking change to put the power in the people's hands, giving the people what they want and live and able to see and feel when it comes to economic development, when it comes to their parks and recreation. And I'm not just talking about a party. I'm talking about once Ox Creek is even cleaned up. It should be cleaned up for the people that have held this city down all these years, that they can go and enjoy their little waterway. And I just
Commissioner Adams, exactly what you said. This would make the committee, as you stated, something that it should have been. Parks and Recreation is a part of planning economic development for the community. So what this does is it puts it in its right committee moving forward.
I
So we
just
can
don't see it.
incorporate park and recreation with our plan of economic development as we move
Okay.
forward with a new master plan.
I'm just hoping, because there's a document that our city manager signed, as well as yourself, Honorable Mayor, I forgot the month, but it was 2021, as it relates to Ox Creek. It was supposed to be in the master plan. Now, there's a plan already in place to separate Ox Creek and put it on its own, master plan. And that shouldn't happen either.
That's not correct.
We've had that discussion in a committee meeting,
That's not correct.
but okay, and if it comes up again, we'll deal with it.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. First, I would like to just say right off the bat, congratulations to everyone, especially future Commissioner Santana Warren, who will be taking my seat as Second Ward Commissioner. Just on behalf of two things, actually. Economics, Parks and Recreation, and I believe behind that word economics, development. And to, I guess, if you want to say defend my name being applied, yes, I did apply for it. It's the only reason I came back and stayed here in Ben Arbor was because of Hall Park. Economic development, you're not going to get no parks done without those economics. No, it's not all about a party, but I guarantee you the largest party in the world happens every 4 years till the law changes to every 2. They split it every 4 years to every 2. So they have every 2 years, but it still ends up being 4. They split the Summer Olympics and the Winter Olympics. So it's every 2 years. You get it. I think I kind of deserve this, not being snotty, but to defend my name and the actions. They split it. But if you count those numbers and the number of people and the number of money that they spend to have something once in some cities that you never even heard of, that put those cities on the map, and you want to call that a party at a park that they didn't even have? But look what it did. It stopped a war twice. Do your history. Since I've been here, Hall Park, it was said by the mayor, and it was also printed, the first time in history that Hall Park received a grant of any size, $3+ million to redo Hall Park. What's that got to do with me? 2015, I started, what you want to say, a party every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for 3 summers straight. No grants, no donations. And we just did it for the kids. And then in 2017, if I'm not mistaken, we drew attention. And that attention came from Overflow. And there's witnesses. It came from Overflow, and they started the Summer Impact Program where they hired 24 high school students, and the program ran through 3 parks, Hall Park, Broadway, and Union. And why did they do that? Because BU, the organization in which I started, we started a 3-on-3 tournament that started at Hall Park, Broadway, and Union. That's how it started. Now, I didn't give up and I kept going. Now, you want to talk about the economic value, about me giving a party every weekend? Lowe's came along, and Lowe's redid some of that park. They even pulled up a couple of dead trees. I don't know how many of you all know that. They didn't charge the city. You want to talk about some more economic value to the citizens and to kids, which I am here? I got witnesses right here in this room, and it should be public information. I ain't sure, but I don't do that. But check this out. I can go to Lowe's right now and get every kid that works every summer, every tool that they need, and Ben Harbor don't have to pay a cost. And I got witnesses.
Thank you.
That
Commissioner.
park you see across the street 2 years ago, I went to Lowe's and told the man who I was, we had to get trucks to come and pick up the lights that they donated to Lowe's at no cost. So don't ask me about economic development, and you want to ask me if I'm qualified. I don't mean to be snotty, but I am very qualified. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. This item actually came out of my committee, the legislative committee. And in the discussion about this particular item, wanted to modernize and update the committee structure as it was. And it was fitting that Parks and Recs fell under economic development because each one of those parks creates economic development. People rent out those parks, the beach, all of those parks. So that's why that item actually fell under that. Because Commissioner Edwards is no longer a commissioner, he could not serve as the chair of that particular committee, but wanted to still serve in the capacity of citizen, which is why the application was submitted, which is why it was accepted. He was already serving, and so he wanted to continue to serve, but could not serve in that role as chair. But just in modernizing the systems and the procedures that we have, looking at those structures is why it was addressed, which is why it was looked at, which is why we asked for input and discussed this particular item 2 weeks ago in the legislative committee. And so, you know, I think if there were any issues that people wanted to address or consider changing, I think there was an opportunity to do that. And there still is if somebody wanted to, but there was discussions about how we needed to modernize and update those particular systems. Thank you, Honorable Mayor, for the time.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. With all due respect, for serving on that as a chairman for the last 12 years, I believe it is, under 3 different mayors. I've seen where this system has always worked together one way or another. We negotiated a lot of other developments. We negotiated a lot of the fixings that have happened. Whirlpool Impact Day that happens every year. Goes out and spends hundreds of thousands of dollars down there. But also some of the CDBG money that comes to the city is allotted to a lot of things that has to do with park and recreation. Back to the days of, God rest his soul, Pete Mitchell, we also have paid for a rec person to take care of Mobile Brazil Center. At that time, that was coming out of CDBG funding and other things. And I think that from the last 12 years to the last 4 years, our history with CDBG funding, we have no findings. We were getting tagged every year for findings, commingling of funds, other things were happening. At that time, even I could go a step further to say that we didn't even have a community economic development director consistently. There was no consistent director for that position, to the point of we were getting ready to lose $3 million. And our community economic development director saved that money. We were able to draw down on that money. So every park in the city somehow, some way has something to do with public community economic development. I will say that it's going to be an extra task because if our meetings last 2 or 3 hours now, imagine adding another segment to that. But I think we're up to the task. As far as city residents who serve on committees, there are too many empty seats on these committees that need to be filled for anybody to complain about. One, I would hope that we would have some signups tonight before people leave here, or some applications that be put in, because there's more than enough room on every committee for this city. Because when you come to some of these committee meetings, you only have 3 people representing, 3 or 4 representing the residents. So I would open up the floor tonight to tell anybody that if you want to serve on any committee, please see the clerk, put in the application. I know, Mayor, nobody's beating down your door to try to serve on any of these committees, because it does take a responsibility, and it's not a paid responsibility, it's a voluntary one. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Commissioner at Large Adams.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I don't know where all that other stuff came from, but in anybody, and I welcome anybody and have, and been asking and pretty much big in the community, come take a seat on one of these committees. Because I intend to myself. I'm a taxpayer. I still live in Benton Harbor, and I'm gonna continue to do what I can to further the growth of my community. My quorum is, however, we have a roof down here up over the armory that I brought to attention when it first started peeling up 2 years ago. We have funding. I'm very concerned, and I had a resident that asked me today that don't even live in it, owns some property that runs down into our beautiful jewel that's sitting down there. Somebody got eyes on it bigger than ours. And I think that it just needs to be in the power of the people, period. And I just hope that y'all take that into consideration, because I'm sure my little vote tonight ain't gonna mean nothing, but I will not be supporting.
Chair recognizes the Public Safety and Park and Recreation Chairman, Commissioner Singleton.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. When I first seen that, I thought that was definitely a great idea, because it is dealing with development. You know, our parks are on the fast track and now being developed. Anytime development come, you know, you expect economics too. It worked, you know, we did the best we could with public safety, you know, it being part of public safety, but I do believe that it would serve best in planned economic development, because go hand in hand, and then the added part that the trade-off was public works going to public safety, which I think is one of the two biggest visible departments in our community. You know, we heard a lot of, over the years, issues with you know, public works. You know we have some challenges there, and by that being assigned to a committee, you know, hopefully we can get that in the right direction. I think we would, you know, just thinking outside the box. So I just think that was, it just made sense to me, so.
Thank you, Commissioner. Director Little, via City Manager, I know that you've worked tirelessly with stakeholders and from the Community Economic Development Office. Could you just weigh in and discuss how important or how this Park and Recreation is wedded to planning economic development? If you could include some of the numbers as it relates to Broadway Park, which we also will be entertaining, the Empire Corridor, and you know, just how the beautification of the parks with the planning economic development, how would that work?
I believe it's a very important component that will coordinate well. Up to this point, since I've been for economic development, myself specifically, I've been involved heavily in trying to support the parks activity. As you said, working with Whirlpool, Union Park, they put $500,000 into it. Broadway Park, now June Woods Park, they did about the same. They're preparing now for the coming year to do possibly 2 areas. In addition to that, I've worked with the Abbott Marsh and our departments to pursue the Spark grant for Hall Park, and this is just phase 1, 1 million of it. total cost that was projected for it to accomplish what we set out to do is $3 million. It is directly linked to Ox Creek, which is going to be ultimately, by the time it's completed, in excess of probably $20 million. We've got about 8.5 to 9 million of that right now already committed to us, and are preparing to go through the environmental assessment process, which will cover both Hall Park as well as the planned bike path walkway going through downtown all the way out to Benton Township, right alongside Hall Park, the recreational aspects that are being designed into that, which would link also directly to Hall Park, fishing, wading, kayaking, and whatnot. And in addition to that, we're sitting at present waiting for word on the $2.5 million grant that we submitted for the armory in order to try and revitalize it completely, bringing it back into the fold and providing money not only for doing the capital work on it, repairs, but also operating money. So whether, regardless of where it's put, we are already doing a great deal of it. And so the coordination that should come about as a result of the committee reviewing its functions should improve rather than do anything else.
Thank you, sir. Call for the question.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
No.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
No.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
The appointments, were they separated? Thank you. This brings us to the appointment to the Economic Development and Parks and Recreation Committee. Jerry Edwards, is there a motion for?
So moved.
Motion is made by Commissioner Singleton. It is supported by Commissioner Henderson. Is there discussion? Chair recognizes Fourth Ward Commissioner Clark Griffin.
As I stated earlier, how was the appointment put in, an application put in for something we just voted on tonight, didn't even exist, but that's not fair to other residents that might have been interested in it. And as far as Commissioner Edwards can't be a co-chair anymore of Parks, he could have been made a citizen rep. We voting on a citizen rep right now, tonight, for that. So that's no excuse for that. And as far as saying nobody's knocking on the door applying, we got all these vacancies because, like I stated months ago, if the mayor don't like you, he don't pass you to us. And that's not fair. I know some people that put in several times for different committees and he wasn't passed through because they wasn't passed through because they're not favorable by the mayor. Also, even Shaquille Turner, Mr. Shaquille Turner, he put in 4 times for public safety and was never passed through to us. He has experience in public safety. So that's it.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. If so, if we do need to amend, I didn't see anywhere on this appointment whether it said citizen, but if we have to amend that to put citizen, I thought it was already in the resolution that it was a citizen rep. Can we get clarity from the clerk or through the chair? He's going to be representing the citizen rep, not as a commissioner for this position. Is that part of this resolution?
So his application is for citizen rep. He currently serves as the vice chair of Park and Rec Public Safety. His term would end December 31st, 2023. The new committee meeting for the Planning Economic Development Park and Recreation Committee is not until January. So the life term would have expired. He would be able to serve as a citizen rep, which is what his application is currently for.
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
And I would just say Commissioner Edwards has served faithfully. As he stated, he came back to Benton Harbor. He sat in that seat like many others with idea after idea, plan after plan on how he was going to work with youth, work with Lowe's, work with stakeholders, work with anybody. I can remember Anthony Pig Miller and myself. The photo is in the mayor's office where he had about 30 young men, where he came and he spoke to them at their championship game. At that time, swings was broken, benches in deplorable shape. I think he may have took the bike rim down and put up a real basketball rim just so they could have somewhere to play. So his passion, his compassion, and his commitment, whether it's as a commissioner or as a resident, I think it speaks for itself, which is why I can support and do support this appointment. Chair recognizes Commissioner Singleton.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Concur with what you just said. I watched him work prior to becoming a commissioner. He sit out there and some years when he come back, and he had a heart for it. Didn't take no to me that it can happen. He found a way to make things happen, and get kids to the park, get people to donate. I think we were still under emergency management, so there wasn't no money coming. So then working with him as the co-chair on the committee, he definitely did a awesome job. I used to just say, hey, have at it, man. Whatever I need to do, let me know. And he took it and went with it. So I can't think of nobody that's more committed. He's a citizen. Once, I guess next month he'll be a citizen, and it's like Michael seeing Scotty go. But he's still around. So I can't support this.
Chair recognizes Commissioner at Large Adams.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. And I just want to take a moment to actually thank Mr. Edwards for having the energy to do what he came back and started and tried to kick off down, starting with Hall Park. Actually, I was a board member of the board that he had started, trying to start his nonprofit, and I helped with that endeavor as well, along with some other things that I've donated for you to make some things happen, but nobody ever hear about that. But I ain't wanting to brag, because I expect my blessings to come from nothing with two legs down here walking amongst us. Keep up a good work. Somebody got to have the energy, and I mean, I'm every time I think about you, gosh, it's been so much. I did your wedding. Man, wow. Keep up a good work, and stay involved. We're gonna get some stuff done around here, all of us, because it's gonna take all of us.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Isom.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. And this appointment here, I can't support it. I know Commissioner Edwards started out with a little bitty speaker, about big as my hand, and he turned it up. He turned it up loud as he can. I got him a box of hot dogs, and he had a little grill, and he just started, be you, and he kept going, and what I like about him, he built relationships, he pulled off the Blossom Time party, the appreciation party, and the speakers got bigger, he out there like a DJ. But he like that, he get that, he building relationships and people wanna support him and help support the city. And he bring people together, and that's what it's all about, relationships, unity, and bringing the city together. I thank you for that, Commissioner Edwards. Just keep turning the music up. That's your voice.
Yeah, the only objection that I have is that no DJing on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I call for the question.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
No.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yes,
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
This brings us to our next appointment. The appointment to the Public Safety and Public Works Committee, Resident James Gunter.
so move.
Motion is made by,
It's automatic.
Yes, it got separated because number 2 was separated.
Okay, good.
Commissioner Singleton,
So move.
supported by Commissioner Henderson. Is there discussion?
Yes.
Chair recognizes
The only thing I would
Commissioner.
like to say, I would support this because working with somebody at that age where he can fill in that gap between my ideas and those that's under him. And I've worked with him a few times, this short time I've been knowing him. To me, on my own experience, terrific fit. And not only for, the public safety, I mean, he adds to that because keeping people happy and cheerful, it adds to public safety.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Yeah, I think it's a good move with any young men that are running for office or part of any committee. I'll say the same thing I told one of the young men who was running for elected office before. Stand on the shoulders of the ones that went before you. There should be no hatred in your heart for anybody who's doing anything right in the community. If somebody's sitting in this room right now with something in your heart against somebody where they can't do what's right for people, then something's wrong with you and not them. I totally support this young man coming up because we ain't gonna be here always.
Okay.
One day somebody gonna be coming to look at you and what have you left behind for somebody else to stand on, or have you tore everything down? There was an old story, and I'm gonna leave it at this. My pioneer, our pioneer, Mayor Reverend Versi Flake said that there was a culture of people that when an old man got a certain age, the son took him and put him in the wheelbarrow, dumped him over the cliff. And he started crying. The old man started crying. He said, "Why are you crying?" He said, "I'm not crying for my day. My day is coming. I'm crying for when somebody getting ready to throw you over. Will you be ready?" So I'm standing for these young men. I'm seeing this energy coming, this good energy. We're not gonna be here always. And any way I can help, we will. But again, this ain't no personality contest. When you got 40% poverty rate, highest unemployed, highest tax, if anybody can help, come to the plate. And let's get the job done for the real residents of Ben Harbor. Thank you, Honorable Mayor.
Chair recognizes Fourth Ward Commissioner Clark Griffin.
I actually support Mr. Gunter because Mr. Gunter kind of remind me of me, just the male version. Because he actually do the work. He actually put stuff together. He actually get out and do things. And I think what you're doing for the men are great. It's great. It's needed. It's well needed. And he don't take credit for other people's work. He actually do it. He actually get out there, just like me. So, well.
Chair recognizes Commissioner at Large Adams.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I'm glad that as an elected official, there's not a whole lot that I really have to do. There's not a whole lot that's required of us. Just improve quality of life for people that represent us. But I appreciate our young people for stepping up and want to take the reins of their own future in decision making. And I appreciate President Obama who's brought that forth, because there are things changing in this world. And it's just like being a beautician, we have to keep up with the ever-changing trends and fashions and stuff to be able to give it to somebody else, because it don't faze me. But I appreciate your young leadership. I know your mission, and I think that you're going to be a great asset as a leader in decision-making. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Singleton.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I'd like to just say thank you to Mr. Gunther. Also, I watched him over the years, his actions, his commitment to this community, his tenacity and what he do. I think it'd be a great asset to the committee. I remember him calling me a few times, want to know how to get some streets blocked off or get used at a park or something. And, he's always busy. And I think that's what we need, is that energy to keep things moving. So again, I just like to thank you, man, for stepping up. Man. Well, you already stepped up. You just serving. So appreciate it.
Call for the question.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
This brings us to a resolution adopting a responsible contracting policy. Is there a motion for the approval? Motion is made by Commissioner Adams. It is supported by Commissioner Edwards. Is there discussion? Yes, a request has been made for the Economic Development Director to discuss this matter as it relates to the contract policy present and the possible change.
Mr. Mayor, I spent an hour this evening going through it line by line. I had read it before, but spent some time back, and then I concluded that it's something that would be very harmful to the city of Benton Harbor if we put it in place. But I wanted to go back through to see if I was missing anything. Unfortunately, after reading through it and drawing yellow lines through the areas of concern, I became even more convinced that the city of Benton Harbor cannot afford this. If it were in effect right now, you would not be able to spend the monies that have been provided to the city. All of these grants coming to us have timelines on them for when these things have to be done. We already, unfortunately, are in a position where half the time we're getting single bids on items, so one person bidding no more than two. And with the considerations that are in this, we would not be able to reasonably even expect those. And I think it would do irreparable harm to us.
I would ask, Mr. Manager, are you the author of this resolution?
No, Mr. Mayor. No, I'm not the author. As a matter of fact, I wanted to just say that not only to leave Mr. Little out there on the hot seat, that is a consensus from the city attorney and myself. We all talked about this and did research on it. And we're not recommending that it pass at this time.
Make a motion that we table it. I'm sorry.
I do want to hear from the city attorney as it relates to the legal ramifications of this said resolution. And were you involved with the drafting of this particular resolution?
Mayor Mohammed, I was not involved with the drafting. I believe this predated me, and it was something that I think went through committee prior to my time here, but I did have a chance to look at it, and I concur with with everything that our assistant city manager said. I have some serious concerns about this. I think when you read it on its face, it looks like a great policy. but you have to look at what the impact will be on the city. And unfortunately, in talking to staff and in talking to, even to contractors who are bidding, what you're doing is you're placing such high standards on them that they're going to look at Benton Harbor and say, why would I bid in Benton Harbor when they put all these requirements in that no one else has? You already have some really good standards in as far as hiring people from the city to do the work in the city, and you require that of your contractors and subs already. This is putting in even more harsh requirements as far as the training of those workers. My fear is that this might be a good policy, but at the wrong time. It requires substantial training, and right now, even with the requirements that we have that don't require that training, contractors can't comply. So if they look at this policy and say, there's no way I can comply with this, this is the hardest policy in Southwest Michigan to comply with, they're not going to bid on your jobs. And you do have to spend this money and get bids to comply with the ARPA requirements. My fear is the same as the assistant city manager and the city manager, that there's no way that you will get bids if you pass this. I don't think that means you should preclude it forever. I think there's some really good things in here, but I think if you pass this right now, the city is not ready to deal with the ramifications. And the ramifications will be either getting no bids whatsoever for projects when you need to get bids to spend the money, or an alternative, you'll get a bid that's 3 times what it should be, and the citizens will pay the price. My fear is that the citizens will pay the price for this right now. I would recommend looking at it again in the future. I think it's something that you need to keep on the back burner, but right now is not the time for this.
I support the motion to table.
Honorable Mayor.
I do want to give Commissioner at Large Adams an opportunity to weigh in.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. And I wish I could have asked this question before the city attorney spoke, but maybe she can come back to it. But when I read this document, this has come up before, as I was legislative chair even. Does this also include contractors, I mean, our own city engineers? And I need to know that question because it will bring about another question that I'm going to have. Because if that's the case, where is the accountability, and how and where and when have we ever held them responsible for things that the residents have actually had to pay for? Tax dollars that have had to be spent for something that they were not held accountable for, and still to this day, the same. Every time you have to spend an hour or 2 or 3 on this specific item with this ongoing procedure role, investigative thing, that's 175, 100, 200, I don't know what we pay our attorneys are high. But that's taxpayer dollars. Do we hold them accountable as well as other contractors that we contract work out to? And if it's not good now, when would it be? I mean, we have local people that apply for small jobs when they come out. And sure, it may not be but 1 or 2 because we're actually looking for locals to try to keep our money within our community. I mean,
So
I want the answer to that first
Yeah,
question.
I just want to weigh in. So federal government, when they say, for instance, ARPA dollars or CDBG dollars, they already have a set of requirements as it relates to bidding process. And the feds have multiple regulations
Section 3.
that contractors have to abide by. And we're held accountable if we don't abide by those standards. So what this is doing is adding a local twist, if you will. And the concern that I would have is we can't pass a resolution that would conflict with federal or state law. Now, the city is in a flux because we are creatures of the state and we derive our powers from the state and who derives their powers from the Fed in certain respects. So if the city attorney is concerned about the legalities of it, I'm wondering, where did this resolution come from? If staff didn't present it, attorney had nothing to do with it, who's the author of it?
Honorable Mayor.
I want to recognize
May I-
Commissioner Henry.
May I please give you some history? Months ago, we had a presentation in committee. And they talked about the responsibility contracting policy. We looked at it, we investigated, and we brought it to another committee. At that time, our attorney looked at it. He brought it back, he said everything looks fine, there's nothing illegal about it.
You said he?
He, our staff, including our clerk and our assistant city manager, said, well, we can't make these changes because we don't have enough staff to make the changes. So I can understand that. We are working with a skeleton crew. But I also know if you're gonna make change, you gotta make a change. You gotta stop what you're doing and do something different. What I'm saying now, one attorney looked at it, we get a new attorney, she comes on board, she wants to look at it too. She looks at it, sends us a report talking about the responsibility contracting policy, and where she saw nothing wrong with it other than what staff responded to, that it was gonna be more work for them to do. I reached out to the representative that gave the presentation and I asked him the question, what actually will the city have to do to get these apprenticeship programs and all of the things that the union contractors are bringing to the table? So he directed that information to me. And he also said that Benton Harbor is not gonna be alone, just like they weren't, like Grand Rapids and Muskegon Heights and the rest of them that signed a responsibility contracting policy, that they would come in and make sure that we got assistance to help us. This is for change, to give us what the state of Michigan is pushing millions of dollars into, the apprenticeship program. But Benton Harbor has been way in advance for apprenticeship programs for the last 10, 20 years. We don't, it doesn't work for us. Michigan Works, Connexus, none of them do the job for us. But these, and now let me go back to staff. She wrote this and said they're all good. Then she went to Abermarch and had a conversation with Abermarch. And Abermarch immediately said that it was nothing that they could deal with. Because they're gonna be held accountable. They're gonna have a measuring tool. So when we look at projects that have gone the same project over and over and over with no accountability, this will eliminate that. We're gonna get qualified people to be trained for work. All of these Justice 40 jobs that they're talking about, broadband, underground infrastructure, all of these are gonna be training for heavy equipment operating. All of those are training for our people. So when it comes to committee, it comes to our body here and we send it back. The mayor says, no,
Let's send it back to committee and let's talk about it again. We send it to Commissioner Henderson's committee and it's not on the agenda. So I asked the question, why it's not on the agenda? She said, well, we're gonna put it on there next month. So I'll wait another month. I said, well, it's not on the agenda again. She said, well, we'll talk about it before we leave. It just pissed me off, so for them to just shine it on and kick it down like that, I said, well, put it on the agenda anyway. Let the body vote it up or vote it down. Let the people see where your vote gonna be. But my issue is there is a part in this resolution that talks about social equity. And it gives priorities as to what priorities we give to certain things. And social equity out of 100% is given 10%. And I think that's insulting and almost asinine. It is insulting for somebody to say that we give 10% of our priorities to social equity. Come on, we're an all-Black community and that's all we can do. So I bring it to your committee and you don't want to talk about it. So that's why we're talking about it now, outside of committee. Because my suggestion is, and I know some of you probably have not even read it, that we take, there's a 25% criteria for the price of the project.
Commissioner Henry,
It makes a big difference.
Commissioner Henry.
No, I got the floor and I'm going to continue because we're talking about this project. And if you don't hear the truth, you're going to get all of the kick the can down the road,
Commissioner
listen to
Henry,
Abermark.
I just want to bring you back to the resolution.
I'm gonna bring it
adopting the
back to you
responsible
because
contracting policy.
We're talking about this 10%, and that's the problem. That's why it's before us now, because Commissioner Henderson didn't want to talk about it in her committee. So we're gonna talk about it now.
Is this
because it-
10%, is this somewhere in the resolution?
Yes, it's on page 6. It gives a criteria of everything that is in prioritized.
Commissioner Henry, you do realize that there are federal guidelines.
I understand that perfectly well.
And federal stipulations.
I understand
as
that
it relates
perfectly well.
to
Yes,
how we can allocate
yes, I do understand.
federal
that.
money. You
I
do
understand
understand
that.
that.
Yes,
And we
I
are
do.
legally bound,
I understand
by
that.
the
We got
federal
section
government.
3 and we never used it.
but section 3 is created by the federal government.
I know, and we got it and we never used it.
That's not true.
Where is it being used?
When it can be applied.
Back to the 10% equity, social equity. I suggest we take 5% of the price, maybe not the price. We wanna leave the price, because the price gonna be high. Because we're paying our people living wages. We're educating them and paying them living wages, the price is gonna be high. So we'll leave the 25%, but corporate accountability at 25%, workplace safety at 25%, workforce development at 15%, and social equity at 10%.
Commissioner, you
I
can't
said-
chop up federal dollars like that. You cannot chop up federal money like that. And make that a part of the bid on the contract
I'm not
to
gonna
do work
take
for
your
residents.
disrespect of
You cannot do
interrupting
that.
me not one more time, Mayor, because I have the floor and I can prove what I'm saying, but I bet you can't.
But you don't sign for the federal money, I do. And my name is on that. And
Well-
I'm responsible and on how we spend it.
And the only
and
reason
make
you
sure-
signed for it is because we give
To
you
make
permission to
sure
sign for
that
it.
we are in line with federal guidelines.
The only
not
reason
get
you
the
signed
money.
for it is we give you permission to sign for it,
Point
Mayor.
of order, point of order.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem C.
No,
Point
we're talking about the social equity
point of order,
in this,
point of order.
on what's on the agenda.
This is not about social equity. This is about adopting a resolution for responsible contracting policy.
I know, but that's what we're
You
talking.
adding other things, which is
No,
why
we're
I'm
not
bringing you
adding
back
anything,
to.
we're going back
Point of
to,
order,
we're going back to Commissioner Henderson not taking care of
point
business in
of
committee
order.
and letting it come to the body.
Point of order, Commissioner.
For a point of clarity, we discussed this.
Point of order.
And-
When we call a
Wait a
point of
minute.
Point of
order,
order.
Wait a
Point of
minute.
order. Point of order.
point of order is
Point
of
all,
order.
all debate ceases. When you call a point of order, all debate ceases.
And I called one too, when Commissioner
Um,
Newman talked
all
about.
right.
Point of order.
Do we hold?
The point of order is that we need to stick to the motion on the floor. If we cannot stick to the motion on the floor, then let's move on. Point of order. It has to be, when you call a point of order, cease of debate, and everybody need to kind of honor at least the commission rules, regulations. I mean, we can cease debate, but I just really feel that this is too much
Our
tonight.
last night, really, y'all gonna do this, come on.
It's too much tonight to try to debate
Come
on
on
the
now.
floor. So can we stick to the motion or move the motion along? Thank you, Honorable Mayor.
Point of
Thank you,
order,
Mayor Pro Tem C. Chair
I command
recognizes.
my
Commissioner Henry.
seat
Could you
back.
please stick to the agenda item?
I'm speaking on the responsibility contract policy. I am speaking about the responsibility contract policies, criteria for bid evaluations. I am speaking on the project, and I'm saying that I want to take that 10% equity and give it a 20%, take 5% from everything else and give social equity one of the biggest priority for anything that goes on in Benton Harbor and all the money that's Justice 40 and anybody else is gonna bring to us. We need to take care of our people, and this is the best way to do it. She just said the magic word.
Have you completed your point?
I have completed my point.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Clark Griffin.
I had my hand up way before. First of all, I just don't wanna address the elephant in the room. The reason this is getting kicked around, I think it was already in progress before I took my seat, and now it's been 2 years, and I think it's been on the agenda and kicked around back and forth to committees and back to us probably 4 times since I've been on my seat. And the reason I believe is because this has got something to do with union. So, and speaking as a 29-year union worker, I know unions, they guarantee good wages, good benefits, and hold contractors accountable. Because looking at these streets, they to my holding accountable, look at these streets. Who was held accountable for that? We pay good money for these streets. So this would help people. Excuse me, point of order, somebody's talking, and they over talking me. Thank you. So, speaking from experience, not what's been read, statistic, being a UAW on the executive board, 29 years, audits for 25 years, and bargaining rep, UAW bargaining rep, it's unions all around here. And they saying they can't find people. It's thousands of union workers. UAW is 400,000 strong. And
Could
we
you
have a
please
lot
stick to the
I am sticking
agenda
to
item?
it.
You talking about unions and
Yeah,
UAW.
because this is about unions.
This
has
this
got
resolution
something to
is
do-
about
this-
unions?
Yes, what we talking about, it got something to do with unions too. Yes, it does.
Well, thank you for informing me.
Yes.
You should have known that by now.
Yeah, because it's been around. You say you don't know who the author, but it's been on here a lot of times, so you don't seen it. So, yeah, so they're strong. They're everywhere. They're saying you can't find nobody. It's thousands of union workers. A lot of UAW ones around here, a lot of ones that unions that's not. So this is just an excuse to kick it around because it's union and it's gonna help a lot of residents. I'm finished.
I call for the question.
Could I speak, Mayor, just for a moment?
Point of order, I call for the question, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
No.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards,
Karen, did we tabling it? Cause I made a support motion on tabling it.
Lord have mercy. Sweet Jesus.
So we not, I would say no.
My people.
Commissioner Henderson,
No.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Isa,
No.
Commissioner Singleton,
No.
Mayor Mohammed.
No.
Motion fails.
This brings us to the next item on the agenda. Resolution to approve the updated design to the monument honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in the Dwight P. Mitchell City Center Park. Is there a motion for the approval?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion is made by Mayor Pro Tem C, supported by Commissioner Henderson. Is there discussion? Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem C.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I want to commend the staff and this body for doing a good job on bringing back something that's a little bit more smaller, looks a little bit more better. I can support it. Hopefully I can trust the process. But I ain't gonna say that either. But I do also ask the question, are we planning on groundbreaking this the same time they're gonna groundbreak the one in St. Joe? See the one in St. Joe, as Dr. King holding hands with the non-minority girl. And in Ben Harbor, getting chased by a minority boy. So hopefully we can get that, take some of the
Point of order.
colors out of it. And I will support it. Thank you, Honorable Mayor.
So I see design change 1, design change 2. And then it says after. Which design?
This, they add the little window,
See that the
The
table,
little arch of the window.
you see through, you see marking.
the window seat, like in the Bible when the man was sitting in the window.
So, and then you got the pillars in the back.
In the yellow.
I thought we was removing those.
Pillars.
Or are those trash
Yeah, them
cans?
trash cans right there. Yeah, them two things,
The dove on top represents the Holy Spirit.
On top of the,
that one dove is on top of the,
the only thing, and I'm not trying to be sour grapes. We initially supported the statue.
the statue is still there.
The statue is still there, but it just seems as if it's continuing to grow.
No, this is it. You mean the statue or the design?
The design.
No, design this is it.
So is it gonna be the table?
The table, this is gonna be this. Small area, that's it.
Where the black and white checkers come from? Is that gonna be part of that project?
So what is what's the square footage of the design? Because, we really talked about moving it, okay, we said, okay, the statue, it's not like a discussion with the committee. So if you could please take your seat, ma'am.
And I can do that. I was just wanting to let you know I was available if you had a question.
Thank you.
It was out of respect.
Thank you. So, you got the table, you have I guess those are chairs.
Yeah.
What's the square footage?
I have the square footage in front of me. But it should fit right there in the.
Because the thing of it is, when you render drawings and you're rendering specifications, really it should be clear about the square feet, how much is gonna be taken up. The planning commission requires that it's signed by architect, where it's not just a drawing of what we think it's gonna be. Because once we approve it, it's law, it's done. And we don't want, I wouldn't wanna approve something just on a drawing with no specifications or any kind of, really architecture to where we actually know and the community knows, because we love Dr. King and we approve the statue, but that land that's not our land. That's the resident, that's the people, that park is the resident. So when we put something in that park, we're taking space and land, greenery from residents. So at least if we're gonna be taking land and property from the residents, we should at least be able to present to them how much land, what are the drawings, what are the specifications, and what this is actually gonna look like. Because the idea is awesome, and we support the idea, but now we're getting into the realistic side of this right here. Space. And once we give away land, or once somebody takes land or a parcel or a piece, we can't get it back. And that park right there is our Millennium Park, our Grant Park, our Central Park. So when we put something in there, I would like for it to be actual facts, right and exact, where we can present it to the people with renderings and drawings, and they know exactly what we're doing. Not just somebody drawing something saying, we want you to approve this. And this is not out of disrespect. This is out of all due respect.
Well, may I?
Chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. And I love it. I love it. I just have two questions. I love the changes, and the size of the space is something that I think we should have had before us this evening. My question, is it concrete table and stools? Are they permanently placed around the table, and is there more than one or two? And I asked that question because with it being the people's space and place, would 2 or 3 people be able to sit with a chess game or a checkerboard game as such and be comfortable? Or is it spaced out to where someone could bring their own chair? Just taking things like that into consideration, because I see 4 stools are here and I see more than 4 down here. So it should 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I guess that has a lot to do with space too, to be able to fit them in comfortably. Yeah. And is it concrete? It don't look like it.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I'd like to say, also being a member of the Unified Group, I can remember when they did the mock statue in the place where you see this with the phone. After that was approved, the next indoor meeting, or maybe the following committee meeting, there was some paper that was document passed out with those specifications. Also, I do remember seeing one when they did a presentation or something in St. Joe, where they had both cities' pictures there. But on a clarity as far as the citizen, it is exactly, and I understand what you're saying, specification, even the person that's building gonna need that. But from my understanding, the way they came up with those measurements is to make sure that nothing is removed. So it's even that little horseshoe, as we can see in one, that horseshoe is still there. So they're actually only using the exact center of that. So if you went over there now, they wouldn't have to move anything over there. because there's nothing in that center. And the very reason I know that is because I have the youth every summer come over there working on it. And it doesn't even.
But I think Commissioner Adams asked, is it concrete? Are they gonna be working with the staff as far as the runoff? And just all of the different, because this is more than just a statue.
Right.
This is permanent, and this is not just improvements, this is actually changing the landscape in the corridor and the entry to the Dwight P. Mitchell City Center Park. So I just would like to see us, move forward in a more mathematical, deliberate way where we've already approved the statute. That's already done. But I would like to see some architectural drawings, because now we're dealing with the implementation, but of course this has to be approved, but how much space is gonna be taken and what's the actual details of the project?
I would like to ask, give it to,
Chair,
President, Commissioner Ison, because he can.
I'm gonna come to Commissioner Ison, but Commissioner Henry.
This been kicked down the road quite a few times. And one time they came in and showed us measurements and we told them it was too big. And they come back and made it smaller. I don't know what you want them to do because they jumped through every hoop that we asked them to jump through. Every time we said we don't like that, they say, okay, we'll go back and do something different. Now they're here at the point where they got the money and they're ready to do their project. And now you're saying, no, there's a problem.
I'm not saying there's a problem.
No, I'm not saying you saying it's a problem. I'm saying we're saying there's something that's wrong. But the problem is somebody forgot that they did present that kind of stuff to us.
I haven't seen it.
Did they present it to?
Where are the drawings? Director Little, have you seen any specifications of drawings and of measurements of the space that will be reallocated or for that particular project? You have not. Would we need to see drawings of how the park, or not just drawings, but measurements and specifications? How would the staff engage something like that as far as inspections, making sure that it's safe and it's in line with our ordinance? Because when you do that kind of work, it's not just like, changing a window or putting a roof on, it's extensive. Could you speak to that, please?
It would be appropriate. I'm sure our code enforcement people will want to see something that specified what was approved in order to properly inspect and see that it's being done according to what was approved.
So would that need to be done prior to?
It has to be done prior to in order to be of any use.
I'm talking about before. When would that need to be done?
Well, in any project, whether it's a building or building a fence or whatever, you want the specifications in order to know what you're approving.
And you've seen those.
You need them prior to.
And have you seen any specifications on this project?
I have not.
The chair recognizes Commissioner Clark Griffin.
So this goes back to what I've been saying all along about the space. And the first thing I seen, did somebody say something? It's like keep getting interrupted.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Let's please respect the person that's speaking.
Thank you. So yes, we coming back to the space, because like I say, this is the only part that we have, events and concerts and and parades and everything. This is the only part that we have where we can do different things. So the space specification matters. And we approved the seat at the table. We did not approve this new design. And the first thing when I looked at it, I said, what is this? This is something different. So, you know, Commissioner Him, you say, what do they need to do? They need to stick to what we approved. And if they try to bring something else, they need to tell us specification and tell us, because this don't tell us how big, nothing. It shows a window and a dove on top of it. It don't say anything about the measurements or anything. So that's what needs to happen. We need to see, because I like to know what I'm approving. So that's all.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. We went through all of these discussions before, and the specs were that the space was already there. And it would be within the arch that's already there. And we okayed it. And I think the problem is that something was so large that it was blocking the view. They fixed that. They fixed exactly what we asked them to fix. I love it. I think they've done a wonderful job in adding the dove and an arch like a window within. I love it. And I can approve it. As long as it's within that arch that's already there, which isn't a lot of space.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seat.
I do concur. I concur with Commissioner Adams in liking the presentation. I do concur with my other constituents that we do have to know what size it is, because the last time we were out there, they put cups and all these other kind of things out there to show us where it was sit, but no actual measurements, depths, or how far you're gonna dig down, what you have to do. None of that, none of the architectural renderings were present. So if that be the case, then this meeting has been, we're gonna be here till about 11 o'clock tonight if we don't do something. So I would just ask the question, if we cannot just bring this to the meeting on Wednesday night, or come back to it and maybe discuss it then, and we can bring the renderings or drawings, and then we can move forward, because nobody's gonna put one up in January anyway. And I think they already procured enough money to do it. So the money is there, it's just us to agree upon what needs to be placed there. So if we can table it, hopefully, and I'm only one vote, but I think we do need to kind of move on from this, because it seems like the consensus is that we do need some other things before we can vote for this. Thank you, Honorable Mayor.
Commissioner Henderson is
I
recognized.
just have a question to the clerk. When they submitted this last one, did they submit to the chair any specifications?
No, what you have is what was submitted to me.
Because even though it'll fit in the parameters of the arch, it could be larger, wider, even within that arch. So we definitely need the specifications.
I'd like to make a motion. The chair recognizes Commissioner Singleton.
Thank you. I'm just trying to get some clarity myself. This design here, and what's this,
Yeah.
and that was approved by this commission. That's what, at that time, did they do any measurements and stuff like that? So is the only thing.
There was never any measurements.
Okay.
There was never, the Commissioner Singleton, you asked the question, there was never any measurements.
So, basically this design, we approved the design.
Well, we approved the statute because it initially you had a wall in the back. You had like Roman heads sitting on. We were asking, well, whose head is it? Well, who's gonna be there? Then they had a table. So it was a more elaborate project.
So the only thing, probably everybody on that committee. The only thing that was, changed from this
Is the arts and
is
development.
the window in the back. Okay, and everything else the same.
Yeah, for information, that sign after the approval of the full commission is the one that we have out there in the city center park at this moment. And as she said, the only difference is the window.
Is it gonna be concrete? Chair recognizes Commissioner Tyson.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. You know, we done put in a lot of work on this project, Unified Civic Monument. But we do have the contractor here. Could he say something? Could he say something? Could he?
Is the contractor here?
Contractor, could you step up?
The designer.
The
Designer,
designer,
I'm happy to answer questions.
please come forward.
thank you.
So I would just first like to ask you a couple questions. sir.
Absolutely.
You recognize, what's your name?
My name's Garth Woodruff.
Garth Woodruff. So, as far as drawing specifications, you are the designer.
Yeah.
Do you have those?
A full set, yep.
You have a full set?
Yep.
When can we get those?
When do you want them? Tomorrow morning?
We actually really needed them before.
I would have brought them absolutely had I known. We were talking about the 2 changes, but I can get them to you first thing in the morning.
Okay, so because we're at the stage now, we've approved the project.
Sure.
But now we're dealing with the actual execution of the project.
Yeah.
And I know you as a designer, I know this is not your first project, that's a critical.
It is. It is. We've been anxious to talk to the township and make sure that we're all on board, the city, sure. We have drawings. It is concrete. The base of it is. The table is granite. The wall is granite. I don't think that we've deviated. I came on the project a little bit after I think some of the early renderings were done. I don't think that it's really deviated greatly from the original idea, other than some of the modifications that we talked about due to the community kind of giving pushback, new ideas, trying to like nuance it.
So this is our city manager, Mr. Ellis Mitchell, and his office is the administrative arm of the city.
We've been in touch.
You've been in touch. So that office, along with our inspections department, would need to get those renderings.
And I've met with maybe the building inspector. At some point, I talked to the manager's office, and they referred me to somebody to meet on site.
Okay.
So we met with somebody that represented the city about zoning, building ordinances, structural concerns. And we talked through what the expectations were to make sure that we were making the city happy and embracing them as part of the project. There's nothing, there's not a roof overhead. There's not high voltage electricity. So there's very few things that was of concern. So it has a lot of aesthetic value to it. So we didn't get a lot of conversation other than the fact that we'd keep them in the loop as we got a little bit closer.
Okay, so at this point, Mr. Mitchell.
You can have it to me on Wednesday morning.
Can do that. And would a PDF copy be okay, or do you want like a printed copy?
Well, that's something that you can work out with the staff, because typically, like through the planning commission, what happens is once it gets to a certain point, then they engage the staff with the drawings and the renderings and all of that.
Sure.
And then staff makes a recommendation based upon those facts.
Sure.
Is that the normal process that you typically, or?
No, you're right. It's the normal process is to basically beat up every detail, get it on a piece of paper. I mean, it does more than one thing for us. We did it so that we could, get bids and get fair bids, apples to apples bids. But it's also for structural reasons and for this conversation right here. So that is the normal process. We'd be happy to work with the city on that.
I appreciate it.
Sure.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Henderson.
Is it 5 feet, 6, how tall, how wide?
The wall, the space itself, So the table is, I think, 8 foot. It's a substantive table. It's a table that's meant for, one of the questions that came up, can people sit around it? The whole concept is for people to sit around it and create a conversation and a dialogue. Those stools are meant for people to sit at. It's definitely a space that is made for conversation. It's a big table, 8-foot table. The wall is 9 foot tall, 6 inches thick, 6 foot wide. It's a real wall. That's all granite. And then the ring is, I want to say 25 foot in diameter to give you some sense of scale. And it does, it fits all into that
Arch.
Yeah, the arch, the orange shape, that was our goal, was to fit it, or was our objective they gave us, was to fit it into this kind of orange shaped arch, and it all fits in there.
Thank you. That's very informative. Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Sims.
Thank you. The total diameter that's gonna be needed as far as we're looking at this new thing that you got. It's even chairs outside of the circle.
Yeah.
That I want to know the total diameter of the whole thing, because now it's the 9-foot wall. And is that a glass window? Is it going to be a glass?
It's just going to be an open window. It's about a 6-inch thick piece of granite, and it's just kind of resemblance of maybe a church archway, a nod to the Reverend King. The total diameter of the circle is about 25 foot. The workspace is a little bit beyond that because we have to tie this into the rest of the space and make it look like it's been sitting there for 100 years, right? It needs to look like it's always been there.
So basically, you're going to be utilizing more than, how many square foot? Square footage, because we're talking about 25 feet.
So if I was pulling a number out of my ear, I would say around 800 square foot, 800 or 900 square foot. And we have CAD drawings, so I can get you real specific details if that's something you're interested in.
Right. It's not that small.
No, it's not that small.
Right.
And the idea is to take up the brick, build this space, and then put the brick back so that it always looked like it sat there. So the disturbed area is bigger, but like the actual footprint is meant to look like it was always sitting there.
One last question on there. What would be the difference? We have a statue already down here in Lincoln, or somebody standing up. Roosevelt. Guy standing up there. You go out the city, you see him. You have Motown and all kind of stuff now. But what would be the difference in having something like that instead of having all this other stuff and just have Dr. King's statue? It's a statue.
Right.
Because that's what I think we agreed on, just the statue, and not the 10-foot wall, not the table, not having 20. How many chairs is it now?
I want to say 8 or 9, right?
So now you got 8 chairs, you got an 8-foot table, 9-foot wall. How tall is Dr. King?
He is a little taller. Now I'm speaking for the artist, so I might be out of my depth a little bit. But my understanding is he's slightly taller than he was in real life. So maybe 6 foot, 6'1", something like. Does that sound right? So he's life size. But to answer your question, and again, I'm speaking a little bit for the.
Lifted though? Is he lifted?
No. He's no.
You just walk up to him.
That's the idea, and that's the idea of the table, is to create a conversation, to humanize the experience, and to bring people to the table.
Yeah, I'm gonna make this public. Everybody in the room needs to read that speech and see what Dr. King was talking about. See that the table wasn't really talking about anything that was beneficial for what's going on right now, 2023. So you go home with homework and read, see that the table, and then you tell me if you want to have that big sign up there. I'd rather have I have a dream, or let's stop using Wonder Bread, or let's go march somewhere else. But I mean, to see that the table was one of the most gut-wrenching speeches that he had. We talked about racism and all kinds of different things that were going on then. So to have that big statement there doesn't show how far we've come. And I don't think we need to revisit some things that are there. I think that we need to move forward. Maybe just put Dr. King or put whatever there. I have a dream or something else, because we probably, a lot of people still have a dream, but we've got to see that at the table already.
So I just want to, it says, resolution to approve the updated design to the monument honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his wife, E. Mitchell Citizen Park. So it's clear it's an updated, and I think that, because we do have a closed session and we do have another item.
Okay, I'll make it quick.
But I think that we definitely need to know what we would be approving in this new updated. And I've heard some information tonight that I've not seen. It's still word of mouth. But I think that a project of this magnitude and the impact on this community and how it's going to transform or change that park, we need to have more details. Chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, and I'm not going to dispute anything for as much has been torn down, and we have an opportunity because this didn't always look like this. So we finally got to see that there's some tables, and we need to continue to keep taking seats at tables when it comes to making decisions about our lives. But this is something historical here, and I don't think anybody actually paid attention. And it would take an artist's eye to see it, or somebody that has the creative ability to see, to be able to create something like this that actually looked at the landscape around that very place enough to see the arches in the building across the street in the background. And not only that, for whatever is happening in the park, you can actually see King through the window from the other side. We have paid for it, and this isn't costing us anything unless you've donated, and they're still taking donations, and I think they lacking 50,000. But there's a farmer's market that be down here. There are food trucks. Instead of sitting on the bench, they can have a seat at the table. Spark up some conversation. I mean, the food trucks be down there, the vendors be down there doing the farmer's market. I mean, I love it, and I'm ready to vote on it. And whatever else we need, you can bring it back Wednesday, when his hours, we said from 9 to 5.
That was one of our last requests.
And whatever is lacking, you can always revise. You can always revise a resolution or rescind. But everybody told ought to be heard from kicking this can down the road.
Chair recognizes
I
Commissioner
just have a
Adams.
question to the clerk. Do you have those specifications in place with the updated design? Because
I
we
have
can approve it
This is what you guys have in your packet.
pending the updated specifications. Because like you said, we're still at the mercy of an artist, so if it decides to be larger, wider, or whatever, that's still not with those with those particular specifications in it.
Can we get the question?
Chair recognizes Commissioner Ice.
You know, we started this journey, it was back in COVID. I brought it to the commission 3 times, 3. The first time, no, we don't want to do this, no. Second time, no, we don't want to get involved with that. The third time, finally they said, we'll support. Then they had to go through a location. But that's all right. We had to go through a design. We're gonna make it to the mountaintop. I'm gonna get there. Yes, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Now's the time. We will get there. The statue will go up.
Mr. No, we've already approved it.
Yeah.
But it's an updated design.
Yeah.
With no specifications. I mean, this is the first time we're hearing how many feet, how tall the wall is. There's a 9 feet wall. Is that in line with the ordinance
He said that he.
in terms of a fence or a wall? There is a height that it can only be a certain height as it relates to the ordinance. I mean, I'm just saying that we need to have them work with staff. we need to know what we're approving, because right now, we're just approving a drawing that we're saying, I like it, but what is it gonna look like? I mean, because to get it from what's on this piece of paper to out there in that park, that's a long way.
Tourists would love it.
I would love it, but I wanna know what I'm falling in love with, other than what I'm looking at on this piece of paper.
Mayor, I make a motion that we table it and make it go back through committee, kick it down the road just a little bit more.
I would just,
Can I amend that
I
motion?
should call for the.
Yes.
Honorable Mayor, with all due respect, we have other bodies that this is not even touching. I would ask that it goes to the planning commission. So we can know that the zoning ordinances, seriously, that the zoning ordinances and everything else that are in place. Has it went to the planning commission? That's a question.
no.
Has it went to the downtown DDA or anything? I mean, it hasn't went to the planning commission at all.
Well, that's why I'm saying staff needs to be involved. They're coming to the city council. We've approved it. But the details of it, the ordinances, the cement, the granite, that's all now going in this project, those are things that have to be ran through staff,
Support.
through inspection. So to table it, to have it go through the proper channels,
Support.
Planning commission.
the planning commission or the staff may say, well, it doesn't need a special use permit, or is the wall too high? Do they need to change that? All those things can be flushed out working with the staff. The council just
Second on that.
Support. Second.
support. A motion is made by Commissioner Henry and supported by Commissioner Adams. Madam Clerk, to table, please call the roll.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards,
I don't even know what you're going, because I had my hand up.
You can put what time vote, let me tell you.
to table.
No, I'm not gonna say vote. What you say,
We're voting to table.
to another committee or just for the specification?
Correct. To get the specifications,
That's it,
yes.
yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yeah.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes, we gonna do it. It's all right. We gonna get there. We'll get there.
Commissioner Singleton,
Like I was making mine.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
Since we got a moonwalk and follow the process, yes.
Mayor Mohammed,
Yes.
motion carried.
This brings us to the final.
Thank you.
Thank you for your information. And I look forward to seeing those specifications. This brings us to the final item on the agenda.
Moratorium. 8-9, yeah, 8-9, moratorium, Little League.
I thought the moratorium passed and that wasn't separated.
Yep, it's separated by Commissioner Adams.
This brings us to the second to last item on the agenda, a resolution to approve an exception to the city's moratorium
Motion
on
to
the
approve.
sale of city-owned property due to special circumstances, 1108 Pearl Street.
Motion to approve.
Motion is made by Commissioner Adams. It is supported by Mayor Pro Tem Seats. Is there discussion? Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I do think that it's time for us as a city to revisit this as far as selling the community property to, if somebody owns a house next door to a piece of property, I think we ought to make sure that they have the same rights to purchase. We're spending a lot of money on cutting of grass, it says the city exception to the city moratorium of the sale of city-owned property due to special circumstances. I would just ask them to have the same grace for a lot of residents who are purchasing homes, who don't have yards, who next door is being cut by the city. Hopefully we can get some people to start owning lots next door. I do support this wholeheartedly. and thank God for a Fresh Start Garden.
The chair recognizes Commissioner of the Fourth Ward.
Yeah, I just wanna, and I've been stating this all along, that we need to remove and let other residents, cause I know a lot of residents in Fourth Ward wanna buy lots. So we need to do this, and we definitely need Ms. Emma. This is her life garden. She's been doing it for so many years. She does a great job. No, not only do she garden, she has a degree. She's, a lot of people don't talk about that. It's not just she getting out there. She has a degree and years of experience. I wholeheartedly support this, and I couldn't see it any other way. It needs to be done, and it needs to be done for other residents also.
The chair recognizes Commissioner Henderson.
I just have a question. So, we're removing, the exception to just this item? Just this item? Thank you.
The chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. And I want to thank Ms. Kennard. Gosh, it's been, 20 years? Gosh.
No, it's close to.
Since I met you, when I first came down here and you were gardening. And along the way, I've seen you feed this community. Spending time with the children, teaching them. Love your energy and your involvement with horticulture, with the university. I would support this, but I'd like to make an amendment because I think that for as much as Ms. Kennard has done for this community in her capacity of being mother, I would say, of this little bitty food desert, doing the best she could. I've seen people come through here and pay $1 for a piece of property, and I recommend that we revise this to $1.
I support.
Second.
Duly noted, Madam Clerk.
Noted.
So I would just like to weigh in. Worked closely with Ms. Kennard for many years. I have 2 daughters that one has graduated from DePaul University, another one is at Xavier University.
Your son too.
And their hands, I got 7 of them, so I'm coming down the line. Their hands are on that yellow
Yes, on the building.
building.
Yes.
So not only has Ms. Kennard improved that property, but the neighbor next door said that they were considering moving because it was all manner of whatever you could find on the ground right on that, in that area. And what we do have is a model for urban gardening, not just in Benton Harbor. We've had 4 or 5 other gardens. This is probably the best thing with emergency management did.
That's right.
Say it again.
And that's on Facebook Live. But we extended it after he left. And now it has expired, and Commissioner-elect Kennard is moving into a different space and place beyond the Fresh Start capacity. And it's in the city charter that the city cannot enter into a lease agreement or certain type of contractual, any contractual agreement with the city, a sitting city commission. So this is being done as an exception for the hard work, the commitment, the dedication, the beautification, and the superlative work and sweat equity that has been done. So, the city clerk, I want to commend her, city attorney, for getting this item, because we want to be legal. Our heart may want to do certain things, but we got to do it right. And that's what was done. And tonight, this item is here as an exception. One of the things to staff's point, we don't want to just, we had people buy up 40 lots, not doing nothing with them. So, it's a reason why there's a moratorium, because there was an abuse done. And we wanna, but at the same time, I do agree with my colleagues that we need to find the balance at this point, and exceptions need to be made that's in the best interest of the community. Then that should be done. So I can support this. I have gotten food out of the garden. So hopefully that's no conflict of interest. The chair recognizes Commissioner Singleton.
Got some food too. And, I can't think of. Can't think of a better, use for it. We've seen the sweat equity that Ms. Kennard has put in there, and many kids that came through, and, some of them probably moved off, to other places, and hopefully they brought some food and, using some of the things that she taught them. It's right down, not too far from, a few blocks from my house, and, I drive through there, often, and, I see people, they respect it, I don't see a lot of bottles getting thrown in. I don't know if she gets up early, so have you pulled any bottles out there?
Yeah.
But, they do respect it, the people that really appreciate it, I've been to, few of the events that you have toward the end, sampling some of the stuff that you grow, and just seeing the excitement, around that. As like we spoke about earlier, the moratorium on it on some of the property, yeah, that was done for a specific purpose, and I think it was also an opportunity to give the city a chance to evaluate those properties and see if could be some use and stuff. But property that you're working on, I can't see any other use, other than what you're doing. It became a fixture in the neighborhood, and hopefully somebody can continue doing it. I know you're Superwoman, but sometimes
My years are getting shorter.
yeah. So hopefully somebody can, come along, and I think she's inspired enough people that somebody will step up and keep it going. I remember I think the water supply was just running one day, and something broke, and so people started calling. I went in there myself trying to cut it off, and I called somebody, and we got a chance to was able to get it off. But again, I just think that's the only use for that. So I can definitely support this.
Quick question.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
Thank you. Does that include the garden across the street, the children garden across the street from that property? Or is
That's
it just
also
their
a
property?
private person.
Okay, so can
We
we
want
get a read back on the resolution with that amendment?
That is already done.
Okay. $1 as opposed to the other price.
Yes, it's discounted. I call for the question.
Deserves it.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yeah.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes, I got the dollar.
Mayor Pro Tem Seeds,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Absolutely, yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
You asked for order to change. This brings us to our final item before our closed session. A resolution approving the Bespin Harbor
Motion to approve.
Community Plan. Motion is made by Commissioner Adams. Is there support?
Support.
It is supported by Commissioner Singleton. Is there a discussion? Chair recognizes 4th Ward Commissioner Clark Griffin.
Okay, since this is what we call the Bespin Harbor, which is still the master plan. it seems like Ford Ward has got a lot of attention. Most of the master plan seems like it's about Ford Ward. And then I see it's talking about a fifth ward. Why we need a fifth ward when Ben Harbor has been around 175 years? It was Bronze Harbor and then Bronson, and then as Ben Harbor 168 years. We never needed one. So I'm definitely not in agreement with that. I'm not in a lot of the fifth ward is a lot of fourth ward land. That's they want to make fifth ward. Also, it's just a whole lot of stuff I don't agree with the master plan. And I'm gonna try to simplify it because of the time. I had a list of stuff, but I'm gonna skip that. But basically, like I said, I don't see a lot in there affecting directly benefiting the inner city, which is the majority of Ben Harbor residents. Where's the affordable housing? It say affordable housing, but they're talking about $200,000. Who can afford that? When they say the average resident makes $24,000, which I think that's less than that. I think majority is less than $24,000. I don't see things about teen centers. I don't see senior centers. Homeless. We had a homeless problem. City Center Park. You can ride by even Harbor Tower and see people sleeping out there, even in the daytime. Where's that? Improving inner city parks, like Legendary Park, Edwards Park, Edgecombe Park. I see stuff about Arts Park, Thayer Parks, the Newby Park. I don't see anything about the bigger and legendary inner city parks. But what I hear, that was before my time. Everybody went to Edwards Park. It was it was so pretty from what I hear. Yeah. So where's all that? And just to simplify, to me, this is gentrification in a rare form, in a form where developers and out-of-towners are gonna take over. All I hear about, people wanna come. People here, people wanna come. What about the people here? I'm concerned about the residents here. What is gonna happen for them? What is being done for them to give them a better quality of life? And in my opinion, whoever votes yes on this is voting for gentrification at its worst. Thank you.
The chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. And just to piggyback off of what my colleague of the fourth ward, Mrs. Ethel Clark Griffin was talking about, we had a session today that consisted of some information regarding the Justice 40 initiative that President Biden has brought forth, him and Kamala Harris administration. We fought for years for this, and this thing actually takes care of a lot of that stuff, but it requires a lot of work on everybody's behalf. But as it relates to this master plan, I'm only going to support it because I know it's revisable at any given time, but it's going to take 9, at least 5 like-minded people to agree upon what that change or changes should be. I will, however, ask that it specifically states upon my vote tonight that Ox Creek is included within this master plan that the Benton Harbor taxpaying residents have paid $150,000-$60,000 for, that its jewel of Ox Creek is included and not separate in its own master plan.
Commissioner, Ox Creek is a part.
Hold on. Hold on. See, now I didn't just show up tonight. I've been here all along. I've had conversations and I've been in meetings while you've been in Washington. Take care of our business. I will ask you to ask Mr. Economic Development Director, Mr. Little, if in fact what I'm saying is true, because it has been separated, that it be added to this document. And that's just real simple. It's a piece of our land. It's one of our greatest assets. And it should be included within this master plan that the residents are paid for, period.
Director Little, could you please?
Ox Creek is very much a part of the master plan and has been from the very beginning. There's no separate plan for Ox Creek outside of what's required by the feds in order to get the work done. And right now, I think what you're alluding to is the environmental assessment. That has to be done for the entire project and any other projects that are even close to it before all of it can get started. But that's not a separate master plan. That is a plan just for Ox Creek Valley, the money that is coming in the form of grants to carry that out. But it is an essential part of the master plan.
Is that helpful?
It's on record.
Thank you.
Oh, I still haven't been, out here.
Just here's some history. The last master plan that was approved was under the emergency management in 2011. And it's 2023. Master plans are revised and updated every 5 years. So we are 13 years late.
Mhm. No,
And that affects, I had the floor, that affects our attractiveness, that affects our modernity, that affects how investors look at Benton Harbor. That's like somebody showing up with an iPhone 10,
how long have we been out of emergency management?
only since 2017. So what we're doing today is to right years of wrongs, if you will, but we can move forward. But what we don't need, I would suggest, is a paralysis from analysis. I do agree, as Ben Franklin said, haste makes waste, but we vetted it. We've had community input. There's things in this master plan that I'm proud of. Is it perfect? No. Is it gonna be a fifth ward? The residents, the oath that we took on tonight, it's the city charter, it's only 4 wards by city charter. So nobody can make a fifth ward without the residents voting on it. A referendum with you saying, we're gonna create a fifth ward. So there's a lot of recommendations, but that's all they are. The power is in the hands of the people. Don't ever forget that. Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem C.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. This document is for the people and by the people. And I mean, if anything needs to be changed for it, this body will change it. I mean, the master plan is not something that is against the law to change. The body has the ability to change. I think we've changed master plans about 10, 15 times or more than that since I've been elected official. I mean, we've had charrettes and we've had all kinds of different things with the master plan. And it changes. It constantly changes over and over and over. And I think it behooves us to go ahead and get it done because then it does affect other money. It affects other funding that we do have and we do get. If you don't have a master plan, then you're not going to be in line to get some of this money. And there's a lot of federal dollars coming down. We better get it while the getting is good because like them or not, Biden ain't gonna be around long. And there's enough money coming down now for the city. And we can pride ourselves in a lot of it because a lot of money that we were getting now, we weren't getting before. Flint wish they got some money that we got to get rid of the lead lines in that timely manner that we got done with. So it's on and on and on. But in order for us to be in the, as Dr. King said, you got to have a seat at the table.
The chair recognizes Commissioner Singleton.
Time is now. Call for the question.
Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Clark Griffin? No. Commissioner Edwards?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Henry?
I'm sorry, let me give me the. You going on the master plan?
Correct.
No.
Commissioner Isa,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed,
Yes.
motion carried.
This brings us to the staff comments. Chair recognizes our Deputy Director of Public Safety, or Director Flock.
Happy city holiday, nothing else to report.
Chair recognizes the Community and Economic Development Director and Assistant City Manager, Director Little.
Thank you, sir. I'll try not to get windy, but first I want to say thanks for the vote on the master plan. It's very important for the city. And in fact, I think what's happened is just misunderstanding. The value of the master plan is far greater because it contains the Ox Creek project and thereby helps to qualify it for more funding. The reverse is not true. If you have a master plan for Ox Creek, it would do nothing for nobody. I just wanted to mention on the lots, and I am thrilled to see Ms. Kennard get that. I've known Ms. Kennard for over 40 years. In fact, back in the 80s, the first time around. And she deserves it. And any help that we can give her. I wanted to just say, but in terms of this city lots thing, I think we got another case of misunderstanding going on there. What we're attempting to do is to collect these lots and strategically examine where they are in relationship to other lots that we might get to be able to offer for larger development. We've got two professors from the University of Michigan that are working with us and trying to help put together a plan for using the Pattern Homes program, which you see also incorporated into the master plan, where they can put single-family homes, duplexes, quads, and greater on these lots. And it will depend on, the variety will depend on our control of the lots. You can't put a duplex on these small lots that formerly had some single family home. We're gaining the ability to have some variety to be able to get this stuff accomplished by holding on to these lots. Back in 1987, when we started giving out lots for $50 to people, and people were taking them out by the dozens, promises of building all kind of new homes and this and that and the other. And I'm gonna tell you, I've been with it since 1984. I've had a home here since 1984. I doubt you can find 10 homes that have been built to these lots in all that time. In fact, I can guarantee you, because I've seen them, there are numerous of these lots that have cycled around 3 and 4 times and come back to us because nobody's doing anything. What they're doing is sitting on them, hoping somebody's gonna come and offer them more money for it than what they paid for. And that is counterproductive to what this city needs to be about. Lastly, I want to say thanks to Jerry Edwards for all the help that you've given me. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge, and I think we as a city need to do that for people who do good things for the city. I know everything that we've gotten into, it's so much happens in a short time. I'm sure people have forgotten that couple of years that we had the food distribution program out here that Van Fox provided through his program and actually paid for trucks to bring it here to Benton Harbor. When I started looking around, who can I get to help distribute it? People slinging them boxes, some city employees from Public Works. But old Jerry was in there swinging boxes too. Every Thursday when those trucks came, Jerry was out there passing out boxes and carrying them to people's cars and whatnot. Hall Park, every time we've had something going on up there, needed help. Jerry is the first one in line to be out there helping, cooking hot dogs, playing music, whatever. If it was to be done, he was willing and helped to do it. Same thing with the summer youth program. When I needed volunteers and people to help with getting some of that stuff done, Jerry was there. Same thing with these youth that come down here from Minnesota every year. Ever since I've been here, he's been coordinating with them in terms of them, everything from finding showers to be able to use to you name it. The man does well, he deserves praise. One was give it to him. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Litter. Chair recognizes City Attorney Seneca.
Thank you so much. I actually don't have a report, but just wanted to remind the commission that we do have a closed session, and we actually have 2 attorneys that are waiting. They've been on the line since 8 o'clock. They were okay with that, but I want to make sure we don't run out of time, and I don't know if the commission would be okay if we did the closed session first and then came back for commission comments. Would that work?
I have no objection.
Okay, and I have no other report.
Unless the clerk has a burning comment.
No, I can wait.
Thank you. At this,
I have a burning comment.
Mr. Chair recognizes the city manager. This is a rare occurrence, so I'm going to stop the meeting. So this revelation that's coming down.
That's right.
You are recognized, Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to say congratulations to all of the winners in this election. It's good to have new bloods, and it's good to see so many people really interested in where we're going in this city. It can't be done by one person. We've got to do it together. We can fight and argue all the way, but we're all, I believe, working for the same goal. So congratulations. Look forward to working with you. On the master plan is critical to everything we're doing, not just Ox Creek. The parks plans are in the master plan. Everything we're doing is in the master plan. Anytime we want to get funding, the master plan is really the source to help get us there. And I want to say to Commissioner Edwards, it's been a pleasure. And I'm going to be less winded than Mr. Little and just leave it there. Thank you.
Madam Clerk.
Here we go.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Please.
so I just want to give an update on,
Let me add Commissioner Adams.
Oh, no,
I forget about you.
No, please forget about me.
I want to recognize the city clerk.
February 27th presidential primary election date is now set. I want to give an update on early voting. So starting on February 17th through February 25th, you have the opportunity to vote in person early at the LMC Todd Center. That's on Napier at Lake Michigan College. So it will be open various days. Those will be posted to our website, but you all will also receive a postcard in the mail with all of those details on it, outlining the early voting. As far as absentee voting, those that are on the permanent ballot list will be receiving a ballot selection form where you have to choose Republican or Democrat in order to get your ballot for the February election. All of those that are on the absentee list that are not on the absentee ballot list will receive an application mid-January. And all of those details will be on the website.
Thank you. With that being said, we do have a closed session to consider material exempt from discussion or disclosure by state or federal statute under Section 8H of the Open Meetings Act. Is there a motion
Motion to adjourn to close session.
Motion is made by Commissioner Adams and supported by Mayor Pro Tem Seats. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yeah.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin.
See, we gonna go over.
Uh-huh.
So this is history. I'm gonna show my granddaughter. She wants to observe your doctor.
Yeah.
So I need to get those signals. I'm getting this
Where you want me to sign?
right, we can go
Right here? Or?
right down in here.
Okay.
That's historical.
You want to put second ward or anything, or just mine?
That's, yeah, second ward. Thank you.
Congratulations. And there's that dollar.
You know what? What's his name gave me this album?
It's okay.
Thank you.
Keep going and get it out.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes. All right.
I'm thankful for staying. Thank you all for staying.
We don't get them.
I need somebody to take pictures.
Congratulations. How's it going? Good, sir.
That thing I did with the beach. We tell Miss Kennard I said hello, and tell Miss Kennard sends a lot of love. I will. Thank you. He precious. Smell because you know drugs. Oh my goodness, I remember when he was in diapers.
All right.
Yeah.
This is my deal. Okay. So like you say,
Get that number so you can send that picture. Can you send it to us? That's yours. Okay, she'll send it to us. That was Maestro came too.
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
Angela Davis.
Sure did, cause she looked just like Angela Davis. Thank you all. Thanks for hanging with me.
Wow, funny how things
Get him on the ankle game up good after that. Right? Yes.
We've been going since 6 this morning. This morning, early. I'm gonna go home and do what old people do. Pick up and then recline.
What's your name, young lady?
Angela.
Angela?
Yeah.
What's your last name?
Wilson Turnbull.
And you from?
I'm from Detroit and Benton Harbor. Yes.
Detroit, but how they back in Detroit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Doing, huh? I'm Laura's eldest sister. Thank you. Really? Yeah, I am. Get everything worked out.
So then there's one more too, right?
Huh?
And then one more sister, right?
No, they're two more. They're 4 girls altogether.
I
4
didn't know
girls.
that.
Yeah.
I knew about our sister was in marching band with us.
Couple of them $1 for it.
Carlotta?
She said,
Charlotta? Okay. I knew about her. But I just,
4 girls and 3 boys.
I didn't even know that part. Well, I guess they say keep living.
Yeah.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah. I mean.
Wow, I didn't know
I
that.
thought they was in diapers. They were. Just, that's correct. Correct. You all be blessed now. You as well, Mr. Howard. Yeah. Congratulations. Thank you.
All right.
I leave and I'm back. I think she wait. Oh, you don't have your car? Oh, yeah. You don't have your car? They want to get the car.
Should I get his kid? What about
What is it? Oh, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So where's he?
I'm not going.
You can put her in his office.
No, so we can leave whenever we want.
That's exactly what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Of course,
Oh, why is it?
don't say it. Don't say it.
Tired?
I saw you when you came in, I was like, he's tired like we are. Go over here.
I work at the man shelter. The man shelter. The Southern Time.
What?
The man shelter.
Man shelter.
The man shelter, like people who homeless.
Shelter?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I work at.
I do have to
a
get
group
my
home.
my coat. I can't go anywhere without my coat.
Really have changed.
Yeah.
How, do you like it?
The group home is good. The man shelter, Sunday night. I gotta go to work at 1 in the morning to 9,
Oh,
Monday through Wednesday.
oh, 1 to 9 a.m.
Yeah, like I gotta go in at 1 today, well,
So
tomorrow.
you gotta go get some sleep.
I got, I don't work my other job, so when I go out there, I mess up. Yeah.
Sounds good. This is good you're doing some good service. Take care.
All right, you too. They don't be out there.
Hello,
Everything good, huh? Everything well, how you doing?
Hi, girl. How are
Yeah.
you?
I'm fine, I'm just tired.
Tired?
Yeah.
Get some rest?
Oh, I will, right after they come out of there, I'm gonna get some.
Yes, I do. But it's like. See, that's stuff I was thinking about. You know, I know. That's the stuff I be thinking about. They do.
Girl, that don't have me in it. Hey, Miguel.
Okay.
Miguel.
Good.
I knew it wasn't nobody else gonna be here.
My road dog. Okay.
Waiting on
Another young bright leader.
Yeah.
City Commission returns out of recess from the closed session. The action to be taken. Is there a motion?
Make a motion. Action.
Motion has been made to support option 2. It is supported by Commissioner Singleton. Support. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yeah.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Mayor Muhammad.
Yes.
Motion carried.
This brings us to commission comments. Chair recognizes Commissioner Clark Griffin.
I just want to say, this Saturday, we gave kids senior care packages and toy giveaway, adopted families, personally dropped it off, and even people on the street, kids and people on the street in the fourth ward. We did over, well, to be exact, 225 bags. And I just want to thank everybody that donated. I want to thank my son for donating and helping dropping off, my colleague, Commissioner Ison, for donating and helping dropping off, Jamario Eddie, Shaquille Turner for a big donation, and Alea and her friend, just everybody that played a part. I just want to thank them, you know, because we blessed a lot of people. And happy holidays.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Third Ward Commissioner Henry.
I have nothing to say to you guys. Nothing. Thank you.
The chair recognizes Second Ward Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I'd like to say to you all that's left, love you all, and I'd like to say to the commission, staff, love every last one of you all. Thank you all for Commissioner Singleton and Commissioner Adams, especially one of the first. I think she might have been, well, besides Mrs. McDonald. You were the first two, Mary Adams, that I met that were actually part of the local officials. Well, I was going to say a lot more, but I want to say this in their presence. This is to the mayor and his entire family. To me personally, I know they say, you know, you're getting into the political career of politics. I never considered myself a politician, even though I've been in for 35 plus years. I never call myself a political politician. I call myself a political human. So therefore, I take that factor and put it over anything. And this I would like to say to the mayor and his first lady and to the rest of his family. The reason why I'll never part from that family, no matter what happens or what you say, is because that man and his wife trusted me with their daughter. I used to pick him up sometime and take him to practice. I didn't have to look in the mirror to see if he was following me. But like some people say, you better be careful because you know the mother's gonna be following you, put someone in your car, and you'd be surprised what people say when they're sober. And so anyway, for a person not to really know you, and the person that I know of who he looks out after his family, for him to put a trust in anybody, it doesn't matter from a man or a woman, to put your child in the trust of somebody because somebody else said you make a good coach. And that was the late Mr. Lou Harvey. The mayor never followed me, never questioned me. Sometimes he'd say, hey, bring her home. I gotta leave, just bring her home. And we'd ride around and drop off the other girls and I'd drop her off home. I never put that car in reverse until one of them answered the door, she get in. That's what I do. I do kids. I don't do the other stuff. The other stuff is crazy. And I want to say to Ben Harbor, born and raised here, come back, been here 8 years. 4 of those years, you hear what they were talking about, was before I even became a commissioner. In fact, before COVID came, that Mr. Little was here, and some of you might remember, you were on the commission. Before the COVID came, I had gas manufacturing was going to pay for the revitalization of Ball Park. And then COVID came up and everything was canceled. But I didn't give up. Even with COVID, I was still out there playing music. But anyway, I want to thank you all very much. I look forward to working with you all in the park, economic development, and we will do a great job. Thank you all, and I love every last one of y'all.
Thank you. Chair recognizes First Ward Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, and I'll be brief. I'd like to thank all the residents who came out, congratulate all of the winners for the election. Just looking forward to serving with each of you on this next season. Many of the changes that were approved tonight and just the great things that are happening in Ben Harbor is just really awesome to be a part of it. My parting words would be for our departing commissioners, Commissioner Adams and Commissioner Edwards, who I've served. I think Commissioner Adams, my 2 terms with, and Commissioner Edwards, just 2. As many people have stated, he is probably one of the most genuine people that I've ever met, and is confident and has pride in just being who he is, and that is so rare. Serving in community like this, just to be as genuine as he is about everything. And I can really appreciate that, and Commissioner Adams as well. Just meeting her when I first came on, and we've had some battles and words, and probably one of the strongest people I've met in a long time. She gonna fight for what she believes, with her words and probably physically too if you challenge her. I ain't did that, but just know that I've learned a lot. I don't say a whole lot, but I watch and I listen a lot to the people that I serve with, just in general. I just can really appreciate your passion, your love, Commissioner Adams, for this community. It hasn't gone unnoticed. I do thank you for all of the hardships and everything else that you've gone to get to this point. It's definitely something that I definitely appreciate, and appreciate your service and commitment to this community. And I know this is not gonna be the last. We ain't getting rid of you or Commissioner Edwards. Y'all gonna be here probably just as much, and so I still, again, continue to serve this great community. So thank you so much, both of you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Commissioner Isom.
Great things. No, I want to thank everybody for coming out. Had a great party Friday night, city, shake the little leg, had go cocktails, jerk chicken, nice party. The monument project, sometimes you gotta go through some things, but it's gonna happen. Right now, like Moses, right at the Red Sea, right there, right there, right there, right there. It's good. What? Miss meals.
You didn't miss it.
I want to thank everybody for coming out and wish you a Merry Christmas. Commissioner Adams been sitting here since I started, sitting next to you. I learned so much, and wisdom, and just listening at you, and just with your voice and your courage, Point of order. And Commissioner Edwards, thank you for all you have done. I know you both going to continue to serve and make this city great. God bless you. Expect great things.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Commissioner Singleton.
Thank you. I don't know, it must be something you said, man. Dancing on the floor when it's Saturday. Now you're running But, like I say, real quick, thank everybody for your hard work. I always talk about that was there, but Commissioner Adams, I also like to just say it was good working with you. And like everybody said, it's not the end. You just be in a different capacity. I'm sure we're gonna see a whole lot of you. Probably gonna wish you was still sitting there. And many times I wanted to switch chairs with Commissioner Edwards so I can kind of kick on the leg a little bit. But, the passion and everything. Everybody. I think everybody that's step up to serve really have a heart for this community. It's definitely a tough. It's not easy. You give up a lot. Put in a lot of time, and even it get kind of rough on your family too. But some of them understand, and then my wife sometimes, why you go? And then she say go. So it's just good to serve. I guess if I didn't, I'd probably feel some kind of way too. So, but it's gonna be a day though that I'll be on the fishing bank. If you want to call me, you can call. Come time to give it up. So just thank everybody and have a happy holiday, safe, and enjoy some family time.
Chair recognizes Commissioner at Large, Mary Alice Adams.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. You know how long it's been since you did that in order like that? It's been a while, but anyway. Gosh, it's been a long run. And it really isn't even over. I've been down here since 2000. But I got involved in 2002, became a Brownfield Authority board member. That was the only way I saw that I could make a difference in my community, was to be a part of the change that I want to see and be one of those decision makers. And it has been wonderful watching the growth, doing my lady's hair and listening to all the complaints and problems and troubles that I'm like, my heart and my mind is like a library, and then absorbing and researching the history of how we got to be where we are as a community. I can remember as a little girl, my family, the older people would be arguing and fussing about the news and things that are going on in the world and how it affects us. And I'm like, man, I should have got involved a long time ago. See, we weren't paying attention when I was in school, when they were teaching civics. They were teaching, and I didn't realize that I was really listening, because a lot of that stuff got to coming back to me. But when I came down here and decided to run for office, because we were facing losing democracy, I'm like, they need some help. So why, it might gotta be somebody, why not me? But I didn't come to gain any friends, but I definitely didn't come to gain any enemies. And sometimes some of the decisions and attitudes and stuff, it can affect relationships. It really can, and that's what hurts me. Because from the bottom of my heart, I love you, Mayor Muhammad, and that woman over there and those little kids that I've kind of like grown with, and I feel like I've missed some years of their lives. You had the nerve to have 5 girls and a boy. I had 5 boys and a girl. But anyway, it's been an honor and a pleasure to serve my community. And they chose me at a time when they on Facebook, and I had just got on Facebook talking about, oh, God equipped you. I mean, just beaming me up, and I did it. And then they chose me 3 times. I never ran for a pageant, a beauty pageant or any of that. I was a tomboy. Had the nerve to have children. Anyway, it has really been an honor to serve my community, and I'm going to continue to serve because I happen to still be a Brownfield Authority board member. And with this year and last year, my life has really taken some turns, and especially health-wise. So now I can spend some time with Mary Alice, and I can still do what I can do on technology of today. And with that, Commissioner Mary Alice Adams is signing out.
Thank you, Commissioner Adams. Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Where do we begin? Wow, this, my partner, I don't want to say my partner, she wasn't my partner in crime, she was my partner all the time, honestly, that Community Economic Development, Commissioner Adams. Neither one of you commissioners have anything to hold your head down about. Getting choked up, Jesus Christ. A lot of the stuff you see happening in Ben Harbor right now, you did it. You fought when we had to stand on those steps, boycott Governor Snyder. You did that. I remember Mama when she put out a video with mustache on and she did the Joe Harris. When we were emergency managers. And just the years of knowing that you have the heart of the people at heart. And no matter what, I don't know. I ain't gonna receive it. Knowing you have the heart of the people, knowing what you've done, what you stood for, neither one of you had to hold your head down. Jerry Edwards, it's been Commissioner Edwards, I don't mean any disrespect. It's been an honor and a privilege working with both of you. I know you guys were committed to the job. It was not something where somebody put you in and you didn't do what you were supposed to do or do what you were required to do. And the Bible says to give honor to whom honor is due, and I believe both of you do honor. This is not an easy position. We were in a position where they took our cell phones, took us out of the office, paid us $20 or $25 a meeting. I might not remember that far back, but we didn't have anything. But yet we did still have our ability to serve. And I think we've done that well. To all the naysayers and people who say we haven't did anything, then I would even say, go by Great Lakes Eye Care and make sure that you're not seeing to the wrong lenses, because anybody, as I used to say, my grandfather would say, Ray Charles can see that Benton Harbor is better now than it's ever been. It's because of you two commissioners. And Mayor, congratulations on your reelection. You represent Benton Harbor well. I am grateful. You know, I'm grateful. I don't know why. See, my last meeting is. I'm grateful because I remember waking up that morning at 5 o'clock. I don't know why I keep going back to that. And I know the time is up, but give me one more minute. The mayor came and picked me up. And I was like, man, we can wait. He was like, no, we can't wait, man. We got to go out and get these people and get them to vote. We went to Starbucks, we went to Chicken Coop, and we went to Shell. We got the Go Get 'Em van. And I ain't going to tell y'all the history of that van, but that van, well, we picked up everybody's very looking cranny and crevice. Who would ever thought you'll be mayor elected? Again, not selected, but you are elected. It's something to be proud of. To the First Lady of the city, thank you for, as they tell us at church, for loaning your husband to the city, because it's not easy for children and families to give their husbands or their companions or their fathers. We've given our years to the city, and our kids had to watch the ridicule, watch people calling you all kind of things, and you not be that. You stood the test of time. So congratulations again, Mayor. Everybody have a happy holiday, a blessed holiday, have a safe holiday, and may God be with all of us.
Thank you. Just like to thank everyone for coming out. Today we traveled to Lansing to watch Governor Whitmer sign $12 million worth of debt relief for Benton Harbor area schools. The loan was to mature in 2045 with interest. When they announced that in the room, it was just a chill. But that agreement and those loans were made under state interference. So some of those wrongs, I believe, also will be corrected with the city of Benton Harbor as well. We do plan to travel tomorrow to Lansing to meet with Eagle regarding the future of our water filtration plant. To Commissioner Edwards, did serve as my daughter, who's at Xavier now, as her basketball coach. And just the work you've done. In the military, you served for 4 years. And then if you serve faithfully, you're honorably discharged. And tonight, you too, Commissioner Adams, who anybody that's getting a check for any kind of cannabis work, as jobs you have fought for, downtown industry, people working. The city has collected over 10 million in city income tax. That's right. But you spearheaded it. So it's so much that we could say, but the two of you are honorably exiting City Hall without scandal, without corruption. You're walking out, not being walked out. So we're grateful for your service. Tomorrow is the inaugural community celebration, which is really for everybody who was elected, re-elected, And we want for everyone to come out. And it's really, like I say, just a celebration for the collective accomplishments that we all have contributed to in one way or the other. So we're gonna party.
Party, y'all.
Like it's 1999.
99.
Food, it's all complimentary. So I'll see you all tomorrow. God bless you, and I can entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin.
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem States,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
What time was the party?
6 to 9.
Mike.
They wouldn't let me do 6 until.
That's enough.
They said, you ain't coming over here with all